Subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with your friends, and comment your thoughts. Maya always believed she lived in the shadows of her family. She was the quiet one, the simple woman who never asked for much. While her siblings chased big dreams and flaunted successes, Maya kept to herself, working a modest job, saving every penny, and maintaining a small, cozy apartment in the city. To her family, Maya was the one they often ignored at gatherings, the one they whispered about behind closed doors. "She's so plain," they'd say, "always so ordinary." At every family dinner, there was laughter, sometimes kind, often cruel, aimed at Maya's simple clothes, her shy smile, and her unassuming ways. Yet, Maya never minded. She had learned early on to shield herself from their judgments. She found comfort in small things, a cup of tea in the morning, the quiet hum of the city below her window, and the worn pages of her favorite books. She didn't need anyone's approval, not really. At least, she told herself that, but beneath her calm exterior was a secret she had buried deep, one that even she hadn't fully understood until that cold, rainy afternoon changed everything. Maya was cleaning her apartment when the phone rang. The number was unfamiliar, but something compelled her to answer. "Hello, is this Maya Kapoor?" the voice asked, steady and professional. "Yes," Maya replied cautiously. "This is Mr. D'Souza, a lawyer representing your late grandfather's estate." Her heart skipped. She hadn't seen or heard about her grandfather in years. Their family ties had always been complicated, woven with silence and unspoken resentments. "There has been a development regarding his will," the lawyer continued. "We have discovered that you are the sole heir to a significant fortune, an inheritance you were unaware of until now." Maya's hands trembled. I don't understand." "There are many details to explain, but to be clear, this is a $30 billion estate," Mr. D'Souza said calmly. "You have the right to claim it." The call ended before she could ask more. For days, Maya sat in her small apartment, the letter from the lawyer resting unopened on the table. What did this mean? How could it be true? She thought about her family, their endless criticisms, the way they had looked down on her for years. Would they ever believe her now? Would they even want to? The next family gathering was tense. Maya's siblings, Arjun, the ambitious businessman, Meera, the socialite, and Rohan, the charming playboy, were all there, dressed in their finest. They barely glanced at Maya as she entered, her simple dress contrasting sharply with their expensive outfits. Arjun smirked. "So, what's this I hear about you suddenly?" "Being rich," he said loudly, ensuring everyone could hear. Maya took a deep breath, holding the letter tightly in her purse. "It's true," she said quietly. "I'm the heir to grandfather's fortune." Laughter erupted around the room. "You? That's a joke," Meera sneered. "How could he possibly leave all that money to you?" Maya's eyes locked on Arjun. "Because grandfather trusted me, something none of you seem to deserve." The room fell silent. For the first time, Maya saw doubt flicker in their eyes. Days turned into weeks. Maya was suddenly the center of attention, but not in a way she had ever wanted. Her phone wouldn't stop ringing with relatives, acquaintances, even strangers claiming to be friends of the family. Everyone wanted a piece of the fortune, but Maya felt lost. She didn't want the money for herself. It was the betrayal she felt that hurt the most. How had her family ignored her all these years, only to show up now? One evening, she sat alone, by the window, watching the city lights flicker in the distance. She whispered to herself, "This isn't just about money, it's about who we really are." Maya soon realized that the fortune was more than just a bank balance. It was tied to secrets, lies, and a legacy that her grandfather had hidden carefully. Her discovery stirred up old wounds in the family, resentments that had never healed, rivalries that threatened to explode. Her siblings grew distant, then aggressive, and at times downright cruel. "Give us our share," Arjun demanded one afternoon. "You're not the only one related to grandfather." Maya stood firm. "He chose me, that's all that matters." Yet, the more Maya resisted, the more her family's hostility grew. They whispered, schemed, and plotted behind her back. She was accused of being greedy, deceitful, even a fraud. But Maya knew the truth. She was simply the one who had endured their scorn in silence, the one they underestimated. And now she was ready to show them who she really was. Maya's quiet world has shattered, but so has the illusion her family held over her. She's no longer invisible. The simple woman they mocked is about to rise, armed not just with money, but with courage and the truth. But the question remains, will the family unite, or will the $30 billion tear them apart forever? The quiet tension in the Kapoor family. Home was now a storm waiting to break. Maya's announcement of her inheritance had shifted the balance of power, sending ripples through every relationship she once thought was set in stone. Her siblings, once indifferent, now viewed her as a threat and a prize. Arjun was the first to make his move. His charm had always been his weapon, and now it was sharpened with purpose. "Maya," he began, catching her alone one afternoon. "In the sprawling family estate, you don't have to do this alone. We are family. Let's sit down and talk about how we can manage this fortune together." Maya met his gaze steadily. "You mean share it with you?" Arjun smiled thinly. "Not just share, grow it. Together we can be unstoppable." She shook her head. "Grandfather's will is clear. He chose me for a reason." Arjun's smile faded, replaced by a flicker of anger. "You don't understand the responsibility. You're not ready for this." Behind the scenes, other family members stirred. Mihra whispered into eager ears at social events, painting Maya as a naive girl in over her head. Rohan, once carefree and detached, now schemed with lawyers and financial advisors, seeking a loophole. But Maya was no longer the woman they dismissed. She spent hours poring over documents from her grandfather's estate, uncovering secrets. That explained everything. The hidden businesses, charitable foundations, and a mysterious trust fund that even her lawyer, Mr. D'Souza, warned was complicated. One name kept appearing in the papers: Arvind Malhotra, a man Maya had never heard of. Yet his name was tied to her grandfather's legacy in ways that hinted at betrayal. Late one night, as rain lashed against her apartment window, Maya sat at her desk, her eyes weary but determined. The phone rang. "Ms. Kapoor, this is Arvind Malhotra. I believe we need to talk." Her heart pounded. Arvind was nothing like the man she expected. Mid-40s, calm and measured, with a piercing gaze that seemed to see through her defenses. He explained that he had been a close associate of her grandfather, managing the fortune's overseas assets and guarding its secrets for decades. "There are forces," he warned, "who would stop at nothing to claim what your grandfather built. You must be cautious." Maya felt a chill. "Why tell me this now?" "Because," he said, "your family's greed has awakened old enemies. You are not just inheriting money, you're inheriting a legacy that many want to destroy." As days passed, Maya's world grew darker. Her siblings' demands became threats. The media caught wind of the story. Headlines like "Simple Woman Heir to Billion-Dollar Fortune" appeared everywhere, twisting her story into sensational gossip. Her phone rang endlessly with offers and warnings. One afternoon, a stranger appeared at her door, a tall man with an unreadable expression. "I'm here to help," he said simply. His name was Raj, a private security expert hired by Arvind to protect Maya. Despite the chaos, Maya found strength in unexpected places. She reconnected with old friends who saw her as she was, not the heiress, but the kind-hearted woman beneath. She discovered charities her grandfather had supported quietly, places where he had helped, those forgotten by society. Determined, Maya vowed to honor his true legacy, not just the fortune, but the kindness and integrity he had embodied. But shadows lurked closer. One evening, as Maya returned home, she noticed her apartment door slightly ajar. Inside, papers were scattered, drawers pulled open. Her heart raced. Someone had been searching for something. She called Raj immediately. "This is serious," he said grimly. "They're watching you." The family's fracture deepened. At a tense dinner, Arjun confronted her openly. "You think you're better than us now?" he sneered. "Money changes nothing." Maya met his glare. "Maybe not, but it changes who I am and what I will fight for." Her words hung in the air like a challenge. In the quiet of her room, Maya unfolded an old photograph she had found among her grandfather's belongings. A picture of him with a young woman whose face was scratched out. Who was she? What secrets did this photo hold? Questions multiplied, and answers seemed further away than ever. The line between ally and enemy blurred. Arvind warned her to trust no one. Her own family's greed and deceit threatened to consume them all. But Maya was ready to fight, not just for her inheritance, but for the truth buried beneath years of lies. The air in the Kapoor family was thick with suspicion and bitterness. The walls that once held memories of childhood laughter were now stained with silent accusations and hidden agendas. Maya felt the weight of it all pressing down on her, yet she refused to let it crush her spirit. Every day brought new challenges, every conversation a test of her strength. It was a rainy evening when Maya received an unexpected visitor. The knock on her door was soft but firm. When she opened it, she found a frail old woman standing there, her eyes sharp despite the wrinkles that marked her face. "I'm Savita," the woman said, her voice trembling yet steady. "I was your grandfather's housekeeper for many years." Maya invited her inside, curiosity and caution mixing in her mind. Savita sat down and looked around the modest apartment. "I heard about the inheritance," she said quietly. "But there's more you need to know. Things your family tried to bury." Maya's heart quickened. Over the next few hours, Savita told stories that painted a different picture of the Kapoor family legacy, one filled with generosity, secrecy, and betrayal. "Your grandfather was a man of great vision," she explained. "He built this fortune not just for himself, but to protect those he cared about. But he also made enemies, powerful people who wanted to take everything from him." Savita leaned closer, lowering her voice. "There's a reason your family never told you about the woman in the photo you found." Maya's eyes widened. "That woman was your grandmother, Anjali. She was forced out of the family when she threatened to expose a conspiracy within the Kapoor business." Maya stared at the scratched-out face in the photo anew, the mystery deepening. The revelations unsettled Maya, but also steeled her resolve. With Savita's help, she began to uncover hidden documents and letters stored away in her grandfather's old safe deposit box. Among them was a letter addressed to Maya, written in her grandfather's shaky handwriting. "My dearest Maya, if you are reading this, it means the time has come to know the truth. The fortune you inherit is not just wealth. It is a shield against those who would see our family destroyed. Trust no one, find the truth. And remember, strength lies not in money, but in the heart. With all my love, grandfather." The letter shook Maya deeply. It was more than an inheritance. It was a legacy of protection, warning, and love. But who was the enemy her grandfather spoke of, and how far would they go to claim what was theirs? Meanwhile, Maya's siblings grew more desperate. Arjun's thin smiles faded into cold threats. Meera's social appearances were marked by whispered rumors about Maya's true intentions. Rohan disappeared for days, only to return with new lawyers and agents ready to challenge Maya's claim. One day, Maya received an anonymous message: "Stop digging or pay the price." Fear knotted in her stomach, but she refused to back down. Instead, she turned to Raj, her trusted protector. "We need to find out who's behind this," she said firmly. Raj nodded. "I've already started digging. This goes deeper than you think." Together, they traced the threats back to a shadowy figure, someone with ties to a rival corporation that had long sought to dismantle the Kapoor empire. Maya realized that her grandfather's warnings were real. The battle for the fortune was also a battle for survival. As the pressure mounted, Maya's inner circle grew smaller but stronger. Savita's loyalty never wavered, Arvind's guidance became more urgent, and Raj's protection more vigilant. But the cracks in her family's facade were widening. During a heated confrontation, Arjun admitted, "We were never going to let you have this easily." Maya's reply was calm but fierce. "Then you've already lost." In the quiet moments between chaos, Maya found solace in small acts, helping a local shelter, reconnecting with old friends, and remembering her grandfather's true values. She realized that the fortune was not just a prize to be won, but a responsibility to be honored. As Part 3 closes, Maya stands at a crossroads. The enemy is near, the family torn apart, and the truth still shrouded in shadows. But she is ready to fight, ready to reveal what has been hidden for so long. The tension in the Kapoor family had reached a boiling point. The once tight-knit family was now divided by suspicion, greed, and pain. Maya felt the heavy weight of her grandfather's legacy pressing down on her, but instead of breaking her, it was fueling her determination. Every step she took, every decision she made, was a step closer to unveiling the truth and reclaiming her rightful place. The anonymous threats continued, each one more chilling than the last. Maya's apartment was no longer just a home. It was a fortress. Raj, her protector, never left her side. Yet despite the danger, Maya refused to be silenced. One evening, a secure message arrived on her phone, a clue left by the mysterious figure who had been shadowing her every move. The message read, "Meet me at the old Kapoor estate tonight, alone. Come if you want answers." Maya's heart pounded, but she knew she had no choice. She called Raj. "I have to go, but I'll be careful." Raj nodded grimly. "I'll be nearby. You won't be alone." Under the cloak of darkness, Maya arrived at the crumbling Kapoor estate, the ancestral home her grandfather had built, and where so many family secrets were buried. The house was cold, silent, except for the soft patter of rain. Shadows flickered against the walls as Maya moved deeper inside. Suddenly a figure emerged from the darkness. It was Arvind. "I've been expecting you," he said softly. Maya's eyes narrowed. "Who sent the message?" Arvind sighed. "It was me. I knew you needed to confront the past to protect the future." He led her to a hidden room, concealed behind a bookshelf. Inside, the walls were covered with photographs, documents, and letters, pieces of a puzzle that explained everything. Arvind began to speak. "Your grandfather's fortune was more than money. It was a shield against powerful enemies who wanted to control the Kapoor empire." He revealed that a rival corporation, led by a man named Vikram Shah, had orchestrated a campaign to dismantle the family's legacy, and that Vikram had ties to Maya's own siblings, who had been manipulated and bribed. Maya's breath caught. The betrayal ran deeper than she had imagined. Arvind handed Maya a thick envelope. Inside were recorded conversations, financial records, and evidence of corruption linking Vikram and her siblings. "This is proof," Arvind said. "You can use this to expose them." Maya's mind raced. The choice was clear but painful. Back at the family estate, Maya confronted her siblings. The room was tense, faces flushed with anger and guilt. "I know everything," Maya said, holding up the evidence. "You were working against us, against grandfather's legacy." Arjun's face twisted. "You don't understand. We had to protect ourselves." Mira's voice shook. We didn't want this to happen. Rohan looked away, ashamed. Maya's voice was steady. This family was built on trust and love, not greed and betrayal. She paused, then said quietly, but it's not too late to make things right. In the weeks that followed, Maya worked tirelessly to restore her grandfather's vision. She established a foundation dedicated to supporting those her grandfather cared about, orphans, the poor, and victims of injustice. Her siblings faced consequences, but Maya offered forgiveness and a chance for redemption. The media watched closely as Maya transformed the Kapoor fortune into a force for good. She became a symbol of strength, not just a wealthy heiress, but a woman who had risen from shadows to light. One evening, Maya stood by the window of her apartment, reflecting on the journey. The simple woman they once mocked had become a beacon of hope. Her grandfather's legacy was safe, not because of money, but because of the heart that carried it forward. As the story closes, Maya knows the battle is never truly over, but she is ready to face whatever comes next with courage, love, and an unbreakable spirit. The end.